Hi there, and welcome to my 10.1.7 Beast Mastery Hunter guide. Let's get into it. The stat you want to look for on a Beast Mastery Hunter is basically just anything but versatility. You really want a solid mix of all three because Mastery is your pet damage, Haste will help us keep up our Barbed Shots, and Crit will help us regaining cooldown on Barbed Shot and Kill Command. So basically anything but verse. Now for the talents, they will be linked down below as always in the description. Currently there are 3 different builds you can go for. There's a pure single target raid focus, there's a raid AoE focus, and there's a Mythic plus focus. Going over the class tree, you will always start with Kill Command, which will be our main damage source. Then we pick up Kill Shot, which is an execute. Then we pick up Improved Kill Shot, gaining crit damage on Kill Shot. Then we pick up Master Marksman, so that our melee and ranged special attacks, critical strikes, will cause our targets to bleed for 15% of the damage dealt over 6 seconds. Then we pick up Keen Hindsight, giving us 4% crit chance. Then we pick up Death Chakram, 45-second cooldown, which makes it so whenever enemies are struck by Death Chakram, they take 10% more damage from us and our pets for 10 seconds. This also generates focus, which can be very nice. Then we put up 1 point in serrated shots, so that Serpent Sting, which we don't take, and bleed damage is increased by 10%, and this value is then doubled against targets in execute range. Then we pick up Beastmaster, gaining 6% increased pet damage. We pick up Improved Kill Command, improving Kill Command's damage by 10%. Our last damage point, Alpha Predator, giving us an additional charge on Kill Command, and Kill Command deals 15% increased damage. Now, utility, defensively, and mobility wise, Hunters are kind of a mixed bag. They're very mobile, however, they are very squishy if they're not playing around their cooldowns correctly. Utility wise, you have a lot of options because, as you saw, there's not a lot of damage nodes. So some of the utility is Concussive Shot, which is just a single target slow, Counter Shot, which is an interrupt, Tar Trap, which is an AoE slow, Tranquilizing Shot, which removes magic and rage effects, Intimidation, which is a single target stun, Camouflage, which is stealth for a minute. But the ones we pick up in the raiding talent tree is Post Haste, so that when we use our disengage, we gain 50% movement speed for 4 seconds, and also remove all slows from us. We also pick up Natural Mending, so every 12 focus we spend, reduce the remaining cooldown of our heal by 1 second. We then pick up Survival of the Fittest, reducing all damage we take by 40% because of Nature's Endurance, which increases the damage reduction. Then we pick up Born to be Wild, so we reduce the cooldown of Aspect of the Cheetah, which is our sprint, Survival of the Fittest, and Aspect of the Turtle, which is our immunity, by 20%. We then pick up Sentinel Owl, not because we need division, but because of Sentinel's protection, which is just 5% leech while you have this active. We also pick up Rejuvenating Wind, giving us 8% maximum HP, and makes it so Acceleration also heals us for an additional 16% of our maximum HP. We then pick up Binding Shot, which is mainly for pathing. It can, however, sometimes be quite handy, but for the most part it's nerfed into the ground, so it's not really worth. Then we pick up Binding Shackles, so that whenever we have a target rooted by Binding Shots, knocked back by High Explosive Trap, incapacitated by Scatter Shot, or stunned by Intimidation, they deal 10% less damage to us specifically. Then we pick up Hunter's Avoidance, giving us 6% damage reduction to AoE effects. And lastly, we pick up Pathfinding to increase our movement speed by 6%. Going over the spec tree, we start out with Cobra Shot. We don't really use Cobra Shot. Then we pick up Barbed Shot, which is kind of what the whole Beastmaster Hunter kind of revolves around at this point, but we will get more into that in the core section of this video. Then we pick up Training Expert, increasing all pet damage by 10%. We pick up Killer Command, increasing kill command damage by 20%. We pick up Bloodshed, which is a bleed for a 1-minute cooldown, and it also increases all damage our pets do to that target by 15%. Then we pick up War Orders. Barbed Shot deals 10% increased damage, and applying Barbed Shot has a 50% chance to reset the cooldown of Kill Command. We then pick up Wild Call, so that our auto attack critical strikes have a 20% chance to reset the cooldown of Barbed Shot. Going down the left side, we pick up Pack Tactics, doubling our focus generation, Aspect of the Beast, 30% more damage and healing of our pet abilities, and increasing the effectiveness of our pet passives. Then we pick up Animal Companion. This makes it so we have 2 pets out at all times, and our second pet will now obey our kill command. However, they will not use their pet family abilities, and both pets deal 35% reduced damage. This is still a 30% damage increase. Then we pick up Thrill of the Hunt. Barbed Shot increases your crit strike chance by 3% for 8 seconds, stacking 3 times. Then we pick up Dire Beast. On 20-second cooldown, cooldown, which lasts for 10 seconds, giving us 5% haste. Then we pick up Stomp. Whenever we cast Barbed Shot, our pets just does AoE damage. We then pick up Dire Command, so that Kill Command has a 30% chance to also summon a Dire Beast to attack our target for 10 seconds. Then we pick up Dire Frenzy, so Dire Beast lasts an additional 2 seconds and deals 60% increased damage. Our left capstone is going to be Dire Pack, so that every 5 Dire Beast we have summoned resets the cooldown of Kill Command and reduces the focus cost and cooldown of Kill Command by 50% for 8 seconds. In the middle we go down and take Bestial Wrath, which is going to be our main cooldown. It does a small amount of damage, but it increases all damage both we and our pets do by 25% for 15 seconds. Then we pick up Barbed Wrath, making it so Barbed Shot reduces the cooldown of Bestial Wrath by 12 seconds. We then pick up Scent of Blood, so that activating Bestial Wrath grants us 2 charges of Barbed Shot. Lastly, we pick up Piercing Fangs, so that while Bestial Wrath is active, our pet's crit damage is increased by 35%. Now, for the AoE build in raiding, you simply remove Bloodshed and the Dire Beast package to pick up Multi-Shot, which is just an AoE damage. More importantly, we pick up Beast Cleave, so when we have used Multi-Shot, our pets now deal AoE damage for 80% of the damage dealt for the next 6 seconds. Then we pick up Kill Cleave, so that while we have Beast Cleave active, Kill Commands now also strikes targets nearby our enemy for 80% of the damage dealt. And lastly, we pick up Brutal Companion, so whenever we Barbed Shot while we have 3 stacks up, our pet will immediately use its special ability and it will deal 50% bonus damage. For Mythic Plus specifically, you would take a point out of Dire Command and put it into Wailing Arrow, which is basically just an aimed shot. However, it has a secondary effect where it interrupts and silences any target hit for 3 seconds, which is very handy in M+. In M+, we also pick up more of our utility, such as Interrupt, AoE Slow, and Trank Shot, as well as Intimidation. So let's talk about Beastmaster Hunter as the core fundamentals of it. Basically, you want to use Bestial Wrath as much as possible. You want to use Bloodshed as much as possible and Death Chakram. You will then try to keep up Barbed Shot 100% of the time at 3 stacks. This is almost a doubling to our pet's attack speed, which is very, very good. It also gives us a lot of crit with the current setup. Outside of this, it's just about getting as many kill commands onto the target as we're able to get. This also means that even though we have Cobra Shot, we will only be using it if we have nothing else to use, which means we have no Dire Beast, no Barbed Shot, no kill commands, and we don't have Bestial Wrath ready. Then we will use Cobra Shot, but we will not overspam it because that will be a DPS loss. So if we're going into the opener, if we have Wailing Arrow talented, this will be our first cast, roughly 1.5 seconds before the pull. Otherwise, if you have Beacon, that will be 2 seconds before pull. For the sake of this demonstration, I will not be using Beacon in case you don't have it, so you can see how it would go. So let's save a target here, making sure our pets are on assist, so they will go charge. So we will go Barbed Shot and Barbed Shot, Bloodshed, Death Chakram, Bestial Wrath, and Barbed Shot, Kill Command. Now we're actually into our base rotation. And here at this point, we're just trying to keep up our frenzy stacks while utilizing our Dire Beasts for the additional haste gain. Now we have Bestial Wrath again, so we can continuously just pummel away. And that's basically it. Keeping up those stacks as frenzy, trying not to overcap. I'm not doing the best job at the minute. But yeah, you have to take into account of the travel time for Barbed Shot and stuff. But for the most part, it's just making sure that you always use Kill Command, you always use Execute if you have it, and then keep up your Barbed Shot. For our single target priority, it is basically the same as our opener, and as always, you want to just maximize kill commands, making sure you don't drop frenzy stacks, and then try to just never overcapping on anything, in theory. It will happen occasionally where you might be lucky in getting a few resets on your Barbed Shots or your kill commands, and that is what it is. But yeah, outside of that, it's just keep frenzy up, use kill command, kill shot. Now, our AoE rotation is very similar, except now we will just make sure that we keep using multi-shot so that we can keep up Beast Cleave. So if we keep up Barbed Shot and our frenzy stacks and Beast Cleave, our kill commands will hit a lot of targets and deal a lot of damage. So our opener and our rotation in AoE is as follows. Keeping up Barbed Shot, then multi-shot, keeping that up. And then you want to make sure that you are using your Wailing Arrow when you make sure that your frenzy stacks will not drop If frenzy stacks drop while you're channeling it, it will be a huge DPS loss overall. But yeah, it's just your single target. Just throw in your beast cleaves whenever you can, and then make sure that you use your bestial wrath as much as possible as well. And that's your AoE priority. It's your single target, just remember to keep beast cleave going. So in this situation, we are basically completely dropping Cobra Shot from our rotation because, well, it doesn't really do anything. And then we just keep on firing. But yeah, that's our AoE rotation. Now, before I head off, I want to make something very clear. It will always be a good idea to make sure that you have your call pet as part of your kill command macro. This will ensure that you always summon your pet before your kill command, if your pet's not dead at least, and making sure that you have petassist and petattack, so your pet will always start attacking the second you press kill command. Otherwise, there can be some latency issues sometimes. That will actually be quite a decent amount of DPS loss. I have then followed up by including use pet target macros for the main abilities Claw, Bite and Smack, which is the primary damage dealing ability for all pets. I would highly recommend setting this up for kill command, for kill shot, barbed shot, multi-shot and cobra shot. Another useful macro is having a Mouseover exist macro for your tranquility shots, so that you don't have to tap target or swap targets. You can just mouse over, and this will effectively just fire off a trank shot without putting you into auto attacks in case you want to CC it afterwards and stuff like that. Mouseover macros are very handy for hunters, especially for traps as well. If you're good with Mouseover macros, traps can be very nice to have on Mouseover. Beastmaster Hunter is quite simple once you get the hang of it, and due to having no cast times outside of Wailing Arrow, we have a lot of mobility innate from being a Beastmaster Hunter, which can be very beneficial in harder content such as Mythic raiding or high-end M+. However, be aware that you really need to learn when to use your defensives correctly, otherwise you will end up dying quite a lot as being a hunter. But yeah, that was all from me. Hopefully you subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.